your very generous introduction. I'm exceedingly happy to be here. A bit tired. I'm doing a kind of mini tour for this book. I've been there, done that before. It's kind of fun. And my publisher, in this case, publisher of the Lewis Till File, has been very generous with promoting the book and getting it out there. And I've had fun. I ran into, late in life, a very excellent editor. And that's been fun, too. But what is actually most reifying for me, most pleasurable, what makes it all worthwhile, is seeing groups of people who in theory are readers, who gather in places like libraries and bookstores, and then to have an opportunity to share with a group what I do, what I would do whether anybody paid me or not, whether there were scribners, whether there were salesmen, whether there were sales ladies, whether there were market successes. I would do that, I think. And if not right, I would want to talk and listen and exchange. The idea that this book mixes genres is not particularly to the credit of the book. I've been doing this since day one when I began to write, because my own background is, if you will, eclectic. I grew up a reader, but what I read early on were sort of Zane Grey Westerns, because my father was a reader of Westerns, and romances, because my mom worked in a bookstore at one point in her life, and she brought home Marjorie Morningstar and all these fat, crazy things. And I just, I'd pick up any book that was around and kind of devour it, a kid, like eating good food. Any food was around, I'd consume it. And that was great fun for me. And at one point, it became clear that I wanted to be able to do what those other people, these writers, did. And not only did I simply want to do it, I was pretty sure I could. I read enough the formulaic westerns of Zane Grey that my father read. I can do this. I can do this. So anyway, who knows, if I had started with Homer, if I had started with Thomas Mann, maybe I'd still be sitting there wondering, what the hell is this? And not have my ambitions, but anyway. And that's to say that the House of Fiction has a million windows, and who knows which one you can see through or which one's looking at you. But anyway, mixed media. Mixed media, mixed genre, memoir, documentary, fiction. I'm going to read a passage that talks a little bit about all that, so I'm not going to talk anymore, and then we'll have a chance to talk after I finish. I don't want to read too long. I know my attention span is maybe about 25 minutes if I'm really listening to something that's quite good. So I'm not going to stress you more than that. I picked out something like 12 pages. I'm not exactly sure how long it will go, but if I start it, we'll get finished sooner. So here we go. And then, of course, we'll have a conversation, which is, in a sense, the high point for me. This is done. This is done. This is kind of blah, 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 blah. But I'm still thinking about it. I want to hear what you have to think about it. And I'll learn more about it through you. And that's half the fun. I'm going to go directly to the point where, as an individual, a person, I have received from the government this Lewis Till file, almost somewhere between 250 and 300 pages of all sorts of stuff. And a big part of it is the trial transcript, the actual trial transcript in which Lewis Till and Fred McMurray are being court-martialed. And I got that with my Freedom of Information privileges, which are privileges that maybe some of those privileges that disappear in a minute. But anyway, that's how I got it, and you're in my mind as I try to make sense of this file, this crazy file. One masked intruder carried a gun, the file informs me. After the men burst through the door, one of them lit a match.